To the warm-up presented by Ford, Dwight Howard on the move. These are his numbers since leaving Houston. He played with 4 teams, Lakers, Washington, Charlotte, and Atlanta. I'd like to point out, guys, that Charlotte season, he had 7 different games where he had 20 rebounds, 2 20-20 games, and 1 30-30 game. So the all-star type performances are not that far removed. Yeah,
Dwight Howard is he's moved around a lot, but a lot of that isn't due to basketball. There's other things involved. I'm not sure. A lot of he said, she said. We don't know what was really going on. But at the end of the day, Dwight is playing great basketball now, and he has totally changed his game. He's embracing being a role player, GP.
Well, I'm going to cut you off, GP. We're going to show this feature real quick, and then we'll talk more Dwight. He returned to form as the Lakers center, and he reflects on what it means to be back playing again.
This is a guy that paid his dues in the NBA, but this is somewhat of a redemption season for Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
I think when you're healthy, when you're confident, it just brings out the best in you.
Howard rebounds it and dunks it.
After not being able to play for a year, you kind of miss it for one, and then on the other spectrum, you know what it's like to have something that you love taken away from you. So when you're in that moment, you want to give everything you got.
Dwight Howard played 9 games last year with Washington and had back surgery, trying to rejuvenate his career in Los Angeles.
Dwight has been playing amazing. He's really embraced the role that he has. That second line of defense, man, it's hard to get past when you got a 7-footer back there like ready to block anything.
There's a block by Dwight Howard. How good has Dwight Howard been?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh.
It's not really just his play, but he just has a positive attitude, and everything he's doing on the court is a reflection of what he is as a teammate.
So when I step on the floor, I just really lock in on that moment. I've been doing that, and it's brought me some success. So I'm just going to keep going, keep grinding, and not look back.
All right, so Gary Payton, you know what it feels like to play for different teams and have to get reacclimated to the system, so to speak. What do you think of his performance so far?
Well, I'm impressed by what he did. I didn't think he was going to be like this in this season. The one thing he said from that clip when he first started, he said it's different to be healthy.
Yeah,
he's healthy. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't have the nicks and knacks and his back and stuff. Yep. He's healthy, and then plus he has the teammates that supports him. You know what I'm saying? LeBron and them supports him and gives him boosts and things like that. It wasn't like when he went to the Lakers before and Kobe was on him and things like that. He wasn't set and ready. He knows he's a role player. Like you said, B, he's a role player now. And when he gets in there, he has to perform. And when you perform like that and only got to play 15 to 20 minutes, it's very easy. And somebody is feeding you the basketball and getting you hyped up and doing the things. And that's why he's so different now. And this team's winning. Because you got 2 superstars on this team that takes over everything. And all you have to do is be that role player. Just do what you're supposed to do. Block shots. Get dunks when you have to, and get rebounds. That's all he has to do, and that's what he's doing, and he's doing it effectively.
But I'm going to give him a lot of credit because you said all he has to do is be a role player, but one of the hardest things to do is go from being a superstar to a role player.
He's been a superstar in a long time.
But in his mind, in his mind, he still believed he was a superstar. So to go from being a superstar, even just an all-star, to being a role player is something that's very hard to do. I'm going to give Dwight credit because he made that mental adjustment. He talked about being out of the game and missing the game. I think that forced him to reflect on how he did business moving forward. And he's doing things before that he never did. Dwight Howard was never up at the level of the screen. I was watching the other day. He was trapping Trae Young at the screen and roll. That's not Dwight Howard's game. So I love that. I love the fact that Dwight is getting a second stint in L.A. He's making the most of it. But more importantly, he did a lot of self-reflecting. Realized, okay, I got to change my game. Look at his. He reinvented his body. He looks super lean.
His hair.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. That's something totally different. That's something totally different. But he reinvented his body. Before, Dwight was all shoulders. Now, man, he's gotten super lean, so he can get up and down the court, keep up with the new pace of the game, and he is really given a lot of himself so that he could be this role player. I'm very proud of what Dwight Howard has become.
It's been fun to watch. They're 11-2. They've got the best record in the league, of course, tied with Boston over in the East. Gary, you brought up a good point about 2 main cogs carrying the load for the Lakers. Here's a look at what they're doing, the King and the Brow this season. I mean, nearly identical numbers, both of them shooting close to 50% from the field. LeBron James, of course, leads the NBA with 11 assists, the only player to have double-digit assists. Can they sustain this for an entire season?
The only thing I'm worried about when I look at those stats, everything is sustainable except for the minutes. Anthony Davis has been somebody that's got nicked up throughout his career. LeBron James is 35 years old. I know it's year 17 and he looks like he's still 25, but you have to understand these minutes are going to catch up with Bron at some point. It's a very long season. They're going to make a very long run in the playoffs. I would love to see them get that 35-minute number down a little bit closer to 30.
You can't get 35 minutes down if you're trying to win basketball games. If you're blowing them out, yes, you have to do that then. I still go back to he takes care of his body. He puts $1.5 million into his body every summer. So what we're trying to say is now, okay, you don't practice. Just shoot around. You know, you got to go through that. Take care of your body. Don't do extra stuff. Give massages. Do the thing. I like what these two guys are doing. You know that AD gets hurt. He does. We hope that doesn't happen, and we hope. Right. But what LeBron is trying to say is, I'm better. I'm that guy now. I got to prove to y'all. Y'all put me at number 3. I'm that guy. I'm on a mission this year. So what we have to do now is we got to be like Harden. I'm going to play every night because I want my team to be the best team. And while he's playing 35 minutes, they're 11-2. I appreciate that. They're 11-2. They're not taking no nights off. They're not talking about, oh, I got to rest my knee this day. Or I got to rest this day. They're talking about, let's make a statement right now. Let's go 25-1, 2, or whatever, and get this NBA and say, this is our NBA. We're going to take over.
Well, listen, I know that they're making a lot of statements, but there's also another team in that building in L.A., and they're revving up, and they're making sure they're going to be rested down the stretch, and we'll see how the battle of L.A. is won.
I hope they be together. I hope they be together. Yeah.
All right, we got some good news. We got some excellent news. Brandon Ingram will be playing tonight.
What he got on his head?
The knee situation hopefully has been resolved, at least for now. And
I know it is.
More good news. Dennis Scott will join us.
Yeah, as you see now, he can get to the rack when he feels like it, and he plays defense when he gets ready when he wants to.
First of all, all I said was Zion's name. Why are you looking at me so aggressively? Why are you looking at me so aggressively?
My bad.
All right, so listen, they're playing another team, right? The Golden State Warriors. We want to put this quote up. This is Draymond Green on teams seeking payback. This is a quote. We put them down, so they're trying to kick us while we're down, too, because we've put them down for years. But we didn't have to take shots while they were down. We just put them down. So it's a difference. Is it? Is it a difference?
What do you think, GP? What is that?
That's some B. I don't want to say it.
No, you're not like we don't have a cuss button. Draymond Green has to understand that when the Golden State Warriors were blowing these teams out and beating teams, they were having a good time along the way.
A lot of dancing.
I remember Steph hitting threes and shimmying. I remember those guys dancing. Draymond talking junk to other teams' benches. Well, he done told old Paul Pierce that you're not Kobe. They don't love you like Kobe his last year in the league.
Right.
So Draymond, you had your fun. When you were on top, you had your fun. But now your homeboys aren't with you. And so it's kind of like if you grew up in a rough neighborhood and you saw some guys and they jumped you, and then you see one of them guys by himself, I'm going to make sure I get you. So right now, Draymond, other teams are having their fun with you because when you were crewed up, when you had Steph, Katie, and everybody behind you, you was doing a lot of talking. Now guys want you to keep that same energy when you averaging 9 on a team that only has 2 wins. So that is what, and it's no disrespect to Draymond, but that's the animal. They're like, okay, when you had all them, you were talking. Let's see what you're going to do. And since you're not doing it and the team's not winning, we're going to talk to you the same way you used to talk to us.
That's my little guy. And you got to take the good with the good and the bad with the bad. It is what it is, Dre. Y'all getting beat up. You getting your head mopped up. It is what it is. You take it, man. You was doing it to them. Now they're doing it back to you. That's what happens. When Michael Jordan left the Chicago Bulls, they did the same thing to Scottie Pippen. They drug him in the ground, did everything with him and Tony Kukoc. So it is what it is. Just take it. You got to take the good and the bad. You don't think that your team was going to last that long. Don't think that. It's a run. It's a run. It's an era. So take it. I hope that you get Clay and Steph back and then try to come back again. You just take the lumps. It is what it is.
I will say this for Dre. Tough times don't last long. The Splash Brothers come back next year.
Absolutely.
You guys are on the path. You might get the #1 pick.
Right.
So guess what? They might be a lot better next season. So teams might get a chance to kick Draymond this year.
Right.
But next year, I think the Golden State Warriors will be competing again.
Well, the Golden State Warriors have started 10 different starting lineups, so that just tells you how bad the lineup situation has been with all the injuries. And speaking of different lineups, the Los Angeles Lakers have a